In aviation training, few mnemonics are as well known as ATOMATOFLAMES. This handy memory aid helps pilots preparing for a check ride, oral exam, or written test recall the FAA's required instruments and equipment for visual flight rules flights under FAR 91.205. Understanding this regulation is essential for student pilots, private pilots, and flight instructors alike, ensuring every aircraft meets safety and compliance standards before takeoff. In today's video, we'll be explaining ATOMATOFLAMES, what it stands for, what each item means, and why it's so important for every pilot to know. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of how this simple acronym helps keep aircraft safe and flight operations legal under FAA regulations. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more aviation lessons, check ride tips, and flight training content from Epic Flight Academy. Let's get started.
My name is Ray Altmann and I'm the Chief Flight Instructor at Epic Flight Academy. Acronyms are very helpful tools to learn hard or large amounts of knowledge in a quicker way. The way it works is usually the acronym is a word or a phrase or something that is easier to remember than the components behind each letter. So at least you have that to kind of draw off of and then kind of fill in the blanks.
The meaning behind ATOMATOFLAMES represents the equipment that every aircraft must have when operating under VFR during the day, as outlined in FAR 91.205, paragraph B. Each letter in the acronym stands for a specific instrument or system required for safe and legal flight. Here's what it means. The first A stands for airspeed indicator, displaying the aircraft's speed through the air. T stands for tachometer, indicating the engine's RPMs. O stands for oil pressure gauge, monitoring the engine's oil pressure. M stands for manifold pressure gauge, required for altitude engines only. The second A stands for altimeter, showing the aircraft's altitude. The second T stands for temperature gauge, for liquid-cooled engines, displaying the engine's temperature. The second O stands for oil temperature gauge, for air-cooled systems, displaying the oil temperature. F stands for fuel gauge, for each tank showing usable fuel quantity. L stands for landing gear position indicator. This displays whether the landing gear is retracted or deployed. The third A stands for anti-collision lights, increasing the visibility to other aircraft. M stands for magnetic direction indicator, indicating the aircraft's heading. E stands for ELT, which is the emergency locator transmitter, which sends a distress signal in the event of an emergency or crash. And S for seatbelts, required safety restraints for each occupant. Each item on this list ensures the aircraft is equipped to operate safely, giving pilots the tools and information they need to maintain control and compliance in flight. The ATOMATOFLAMES checklist is part of every pilot's pre-flight action, ensuring that all required equipment is on board and working before flight. Many pilots also use quick reference checklists to confirm that their minimum equipment list meets FAA standards. FAR 91.205 lists the required equipment for flight, while the MEL outlines what may be inoperative and still allow legal operation under FAR 91.213. Flight schools and airlines create their own MELs that include aircraft-specific equipment beyond the general requirements. CFIs encourage students to memorize aviation acronyms early to build strong pre-flight habits and safety awareness. Pilots preparing for a check ride or oral exam should be ready to not only recite ATOMATOFLAMES, but also explain how each item supports safe and legal flight. Let's take a look at two more acronyms that pilots rely on: FLAPS and GRABCARDD for night VFR and IFR operations.
So the ATOMATOFLAMES acronym is for anytime you're flying an aircraft VFR, whether day or night. The FLAPS acronym is for only night flying. So if you have an airplane that you're going to fly at nighttime, it must have all of the equipment in the ATOMATOFLAMES acronym, as well as the FLAPS acronym, which is fuses or circuit breakers, landing lights if you're a for-hire operation, anti-collision lights and position lights, and then a source of power.
For night VFR, FAR 91.205 paragraph C adds additional equipment requirements beyond ATOMATOFLAMES. These ensure visibility and safety when operating after sunset. Pilots remember them using the acronym FLAPS. F stands for fuses or circuit breakers, and must have spares or replacements available on board. L is for landing light, required to illuminate the runway during landing. A stands for anti-collision lights, which are required for both day and night, especially critical for visibility at night. P is for position or navigation lights, which are required for all night operations to indicate aircraft orientation. And S for source of power, ensures all lighting systems remain operational during flight. These lighting and electrical requirements help other pilots see and identify your aircraft at night, greatly improving safety during low visibility operations. Remember, the acronym FLAPS is not the same as the flaps you'll find on an aircraft's wings. For IFR operations, FAR 91.205 paragraph D adds to the lists you've already learned under ATOMATOFLAMES and FLAPS.
So just like ATOMATOFLAMES and FLAPS, GRABCARDD is a specific acronym to memorize the required equipment for a instrument flight. So if I'm going to take a plane flying today in instrument conditions, I need to make sure that I meet the requirements in ATOMATOFLAMES and also in GRABCARDD.
When flying under instrument flight rules, you'll need additional equipment that supports communication, navigation, and attitude awareness. These instruments are essential for maintaining control and safety when flying without visual reference to the ground or horizon. Pilots remember these requirements with the acronym GRABCARDD. G stands for generator or alternator, which provides electrical power for avionics and lighting systems. R stands for radios, two-way communication and navigation, required for air traffic control communication and navigation guidance. A stands for altimeter, accurately measuring altitude and adjusts for barometric pressure changes. B stands for ball, which displays aircraft coordination during turns and flight maneuvers. C stands for clock, used for timing approaches, holds, and instrument procedures. The second A stands for attitude indicator, which shows aircraft orientation relative to the horizon. The second R stands for rate of turn indicator, which displays the rate and coordination of turns. D stands for directional gyro, which helps maintain and reference aircraft heading. And the second D stands for DME, which is distance measuring equipment. This provides distance information or waypoint-based navigation capability. Understanding these instruments is more than just memorization. It's about knowing how each one supports safe instrument flight and proper situational awareness when visibility is limited. FAR 91.205 sets the minimum equipment requirements for all aircraft, protecting pilots, passengers, and everyone in the airspace system. Mastering ATOMATOFLAMES, FLAPS, and GRABCARDD helps pilots stay compliant, confident, and ready for any flight. Safety starts with preparation. Checking that every required instrument works properly reduces the risk of an in-flight emergency and ensures compliance with FAA standards. 3 of the best practices a pilot can do are: comply with the FAA. Flying without required equipment can lead to fines or certificate suspensions. Put safety first. Each item plays a vital role in flight performance and emergency awareness. Be confident, not cocky. Knowing your aircraft is airworthy lets you focus on safe, precise flying.
So what I found most effective is writing down ATOMATOFLAMES and initially just writing down the word or the component that's associated with each one of the letters in that acronym on an index card, and then basically practicing trying to remember what it is before I flip the index card over. That's just kind of the rote memory portion of it. But what I found most effective for me is if I understand what those equipment are and why we need them and what they do for the pilots, it solidified my understanding of the ATOMATOFLAMES acronym.
Understanding when each requirement applies shows strong aeronautical decision-making. A failed fuel gauge or altimeter can quickly turn a routine flight into a dangerous situation. Meeting FAA equipment standards helps prevent small issues from becoming serious problems. Review them often, test yourself, and share your knowledge with other pilots. Teaching others is one of the best ways to reinforce your own learning. Thank you for watching. Before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and check out more of our aviation videos and playlists from Epic Flight Academy.